This is First Alert Weather Team coverage of Tropical Storm Andrea.
The wind got so bad that the palm fronds were hitting the front of my Durango, and I stopped because I kept thinking something else bigger is going to come, because you could feel it lifting the car. And when I stopped, then the rain let up and the wind let up and the tree was gone.
Tropical Storm Andrea is making its way to Wilmington. It has already made landfall in Florida, leaving behind quite a mess.
The storm is packing winds up to 65 miles an hour. And tonight we have team coverage of the tropical storm and the expected impact it will have when it arrives here. Ashley Kozakowski is at Wrightsville Beach, where she has already seen the surfers and the swimmers out in those dangerous waters. And as meteorologist Eric Davis told you all week long, the storm is expected to bring with it strong wind, making those waters even more dangerous and a minor chance of flooding. So, Eric, what else can we expect?
Well, I still think the primary concern is heavy rain. Now, granted, we have dodged the bullet so far this evening, but our luck might be about to run out as we take a look at the First Alert digital Doppler. Really, you can see for much of the evening, really, it's just been some light showers across southeastern North Carolina. But you note these heavier rain bands beginning to build to the south of Myrtle Beach. All of this activity, this tropical moisture is beginning to lift off to the north. So it does appear that in the next few hours, some of the much anticipated heavy rain will begin to push into southeastern North Carolina. And overnight tonight, remember, flood watches are in effect, and we still are under a tropical storm warning. Let's go ahead and take a look at the latest numbers on Andrea. The sustained winds have actually dropped now. They're down to 50 miles per hour, 29.8 north, 83.0 west. The storm will probably continue to slowly weaken as it moves to the northeast, but the basic forecast track has not changed. We still think the storm tracks somewhere near Interstate 95, keeping us in line for heavy rain through the overnight hours, through tomorrow morning and possibly into tomorrow afternoon, and also with that storm track off to the west. Isolated tornadoes could be an issue, I think, particularly tomorrow morning. So you definitely want to make sure to catch Aisha and Gannon. They're going to be on at 7 o'clock on Carolina in the morning on Fox. So you want to catch that show. That might be one of the prime times for severe weather across the area. Luckily, the storm is moving very quickly. Already by Saturday afternoon, it's off the coast of Maine and then rapidly making its way into the north central Atlantic. Again, tropical storm warnings, flood watches in effect for all of southeastern North Carolina. We will have the complete First Alert forecast coming up in just a few moments.
All right, look forward to it. Thanks, Eric. You know, we just can't say it enough. It is best to stay off the beach and out of the water. Freeman Park and Carolina Beach is going to be closed until the weather improves and the tide goes out. Now,
lifeguards won't be on duty all day tomorrow in Carolina Beach unless there are emergencies. But as we all know, some daredevils will grab the boards to hit the waves. News at 10 reporter Ashley Kozakowski and our crew are live in Wrightsville Beach, where, Ashley, you've already seen some people in the water, right?
Well, that's right. Surfers were out here enjoying the surf ahead of this storm earlier today. The conditions weren't really bad out here. The wind, if anything, maybe knocking down some of those waves, but surfers did enjoy the action that was out here. Some of them, though, say they plan to come back here tomorrow morning, and they plan to come back here after the storm. Now, just take a look at this video. This is some video we shot earlier today. You can see surfers actually running into the water to try to get a piece of this action while they are out here. And you know, as I mentioned, they do expect to come back out here tomorrow morning. That's not always recommended by lifeguards, but experienced surfers can usually handle this kind of surf, but not advised at all. Still, the surfers we talked to today were enjoying the waters here.
Surf today was pretty gnarly. It was like waist high, yeah. And the wind was messing with it towards the end of the day, but picked up later in this afternoon, and I had a great time.
Yeah, and Eric's been exactly right about the conditions throughout the day. He said there was only a little bit of light rain. That's what we're seeing here. But as he mentioned, we do expect that heavier rain to move in an hour or so. And then the worst of it is expected to come overnight. And we'll be keeping an eye on this storm, keeping an eye on the situation. We'll have reporters live throughout our morning shows tomorrow. So stay tuned. Stick with us at Fox Wilmington. For now, reporting live, I'm Ashley Kozakowski, Fox Wilmington, News at 10.
Ashley, thanks. Continuing our team coverage, we've connected with all of our area's emergency managers, checking on their plans overnight and into tomorrow.
That's right. Francis Weller is live in our newsroom tonight with those details for us. Fran?
Michelle, John, here's what they're telling us tonight. New Hanover County's Emergency Management Director Warren Lee says that they are full staff tonight in the 911 center. He is not expecting to activate the Emergency Operations Center or open any shelters, but they will watch and monitor the storm to see if things change. Anthony Marzano in Brunswick County, he has a full staff on hand to deal with any emergency response calls. Another dispatcher is on duty to deal with any extra calls coming in, and the Swift Water Rescue team will be on standby. Kay Worley in Columbus County will be monitoring the storm overnight. She tells us there is additional staff on hand tonight and into the morning in the 911 center. And Bradley Kinlaw in Bladen County says leaders will be monitoring the storm overnight. They have regular staff scheduled tonight, but other personnel will be on standby at midnight and throughout the night. And of course, we will continue to monitor this storm throughout the night. We will have the latest on Fox Wilmington News at 10, on our sister station, WECT News at 11, and of course, first thing in the morning on Carolina in the Morning. For now, I'm Francis Weller reporting live in the newsroom, Fox Wilmington News at 10. Now, Michelle, John, back to you.
All right, Fran, thanks. Now, here's what we know at 10:06 as far as the public schools for tomorrow. Brunswick County, Bladen County, and Whiteville City schools are closed. Brunswick County's last day of class will now be Monday. Whiteville City Schools' last day of class will be Tuesday, June the 11th.
Duplin and Pender County schools also on a 1-hour delay. New Hanover schools sent out a tweet earlier that they expect to be open tomorrow. Same situation in Columbus County. Now, we do have an entire list of other closings on the homepage of foxwilmington.com. When we are not on the air, you can still track the storm using the interactive radar through foxwilmington.com. There is also a hurricane season tab that will also show live storm tracking models, and in that page you'll find some hurricane tips to help you get through this very long season. We just started the season and already very busy.
Yep, 6 days old already. We're dealing with a tropical storm. All right, as we continue some of the other news of the day, new details on that building collapse in Philadelphia. We do know the first lawsuit has been filed, and there are actually some changes in demolition practices in the city on the table now because of what happened.
And continuing coverage on the push to bring a new charter school in the southern part of Brunswick County. We'll be right back.
You're watching Fox Wilmington News at 10, 1 hour earlier.
Officials in Philadelphia are inspecting hundreds of demolition sites across the city tonight after a building collapse that killed 6 people and injured at least 13 more. There are 300 open demolition permits in Philly. On Wednesday, a 4-story building collapsed on top of a Salvation Army shop next door, trapping some of the store employees and other people inside. Once again, 6 people are confirmed dead. We know at least 14 others got hurt.
A man has now been found guilty of murder nearly 2 years after police say he killed his wife in the parking lot of Columbus Regional Healthcare System. Elijah Jones was sentenced to life in prison. Back in 2011, he shot his estranged wife, Joan Everett, and her boyfriend, Bobby Ray Shipman. Minutes after that verdict, Everett's family member released balloons in her honor. They also say, although justice has been served, the heartbreak remains. New at 10, the man who heads 3 charter schools in our area is responding to criticism from Brunswick County schools tonight. Baker Mitchell is asking the state for permission to open a new charter school in the southern part of Brunswick County. Mitchell founded and runs charter schools in Columbus and Brunswick counties, with a third in New Hanover County opening this fall. Now, in a recent letter to state education leaders from Brunswick schools, the district attacked the idea for the new charter school, saying it will only hurt the district, but Mitchell says students are flourishing in his schools.
Well, the way we're doing it pleases our parents. It results in high test scores for the children, and results in a nice, stable fund balance for the school.
Well, we know state education leaders will talk about the application for South Brunswick Charter School next week. And a decision isn't expected to be made until later this year. Mitchell says the school could open in the fall of 2014. Well, our more pressing need immediately is Tropical Storm Andrea and what it'll have in store for us overnight
and into tomorrow morning. First Alert meteorologist Eric Davis has the latest models on the storm's path.
And, of course, what you can expect as you hit the road in the morning. We're going to have all those details coming up.
This is First Alert Weather Team coverage of Tropical Storm Andrea.
And good evening, everyone. I am First Alert meteorologist Eric Davis, continuing to track Tropical Storm Andrea, which frankly hasn't had a lot of impact on our weather so far this evening. The winds haven't been all that strong. We really haven't seen a lot of rain. Yeah, we had some light showers, even some little bit of heavier rain now making its way into Columbus County. But you note now around the Myrtle Beach area, heavier rain bands now starting to move into Myrtle Beach, and some much heavier rain bands located well to the south of Brunswick County. It's probably going to be a few more hours before things really deteriorate in a big way across southeastern North Carolina. But make no mistake about it, it still looks like some pretty heavy tropical rains on the way overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. Now, the center, of course, of the storm beginning to cross Florida and making its way into southern Georgia at this hour. Very heavy rain bands stretching from western South Carolina all the way back into parts of southern Georgia and back into parts of Florida as well. And there's still quite a bit of tropical moisture, which still has the potential to feed into southeastern North Carolina as this system makes its way off to the northeast. Still looks like a track near Interstate 95. And also overnight tonight, we would expect at least a chance of severe thunderstorms to begin to increase, and maybe the risk of a few isolated tornadoes. Storm Prediction Center also watching this area. It does appear by morning, especially across New Hanover, Brunswick, and Columbus County, we could see a few possibly tornadic thunderstorms. Remember, hurricanes and tropical systems can generate small tornadoes, not the kind that we saw out in Oklahoma, but small tornadoes that can touch down very quickly. So we're going to have to really keep our eye on the prize for that, and that severe weather threat will continue through much of the day tomorrow, probably winding down as we head towards tomorrow afternoon, but I still think the primary concern will be for heavy rainfall. Hour-by-hour forecast showing the system making its way into right around the South Carolina, North Carolina line here as we head towards 6 a.m. Heavy rain bands at least continuing to feed off and on into southeastern North Carolina. Temperatures mostly in the 70s. We'll still have the threat of some pretty heavy rain for much of tomorrow morning. And then as the system begins to lift towards the Triangle area and eventually up into Virginia, we should see a lot of the rain come to an end, but it may be late afternoon or early evening before the threat of tropical storm force winds begins to diminish. So that threat may be with us at least through tomorrow evening. And the winds could be rather strong. They're going to be out of the southeast, so both our south-facing beaches and our east-facing beaches may have the potential for at least a little bit of minor coastal flooding, and rip currents and big waves will be a big issue here. Look at this, by tomorrow afternoon, instead of a southeast wind, the winds begin to shift around to the southwest. Strongest winds begin to move out of here by tomorrow evening, and I think the big threat for big winds will start to wind down as we head into Saturday. Rainfall, another aspect to the storm. Still looks like we could be on track for at least 2 to 4 inches of widespread rain. I have lowered the rainfall totals a little bit, but widespread 2 to 4 inch rainfall totals, a pretty good bet across much of southeastern North Carolina. Winds not that bad right now. Southeast 6 miles per hour in Wilmington, 75 degrees, humidity at 90%. And around the metro area tonight, rain and thunderstorms increasing, 70 degrees Elizabethtown, 72 degrees in Southport. And the First Alert planning forecast, obviously much of the worst weather tomorrow morning with the rain and the severe weather threat. Still very windy for much of the day, a high of 82. And then once we get past tomorrow, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. It's kind of the more typical early June pattern, the kind of weather you expect to see. Highs in the upper 80s, lows around 70 degrees, and yes, the 20 or 30% chance of those garden variety afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Kind of a boring forecast, but after Andrea, boring might be good.
And it's, if you've been here for any length of time, you know after these storms come through, that usually the day after is beautiful. Usually the day after, because it's kind of taken all the bad stuff with it. So
it does take a lot of the bad stuff.
Saturday, after all the rain tomorrow, Saturday should be a really nice at least start to the day.
Pretty decent day, I think.
Yeah. All right. Eric, thanks.
As we brace for whatever Tropical Storm Andrea may bring, the system is already pounding parts of the nation tonight, which I told you about.
Yeah, forecasters are saying, along with the strong winds and up to 6 inches of rain, Andrea's even spawned several tornadoes to our south. Steve Harrigan is in Cedar Key, Florida, with our report.
Andrea hitting Florida hard with heavy rain and strong winds. The first named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season, also bringing tornadoes to several towns across the Sunshine State.
It was like a thunder that did not stop, and I was like, oh my gosh. I said, this is going to be a tornado, and I got everybody in the bathroom, and we all just got in the tub.
It just sounded like there was just explosions. The whole house started shaking.
These young men describing how they battled the waves when their sailboat flipped.
When we went out there, it wasn't nearly this bad. It was kind of not too windy, and then as we started getting out there, it kind of just hit us like a blast.
Florida Governor Rick Scott warning about dangerous flooding.
We're going to have some flooding. Stay out. Do not be driving into standing water. You don't know how deep it is. Be very cautious right now.
The fast-moving storm is expected to pass through Georgia tonight as it continues to move north. The National Weather Service says Andrea could dump as much as 6 to 8 inches of rain in the Carolinas. Before making landfall in the U.S. late this afternoon, the storm pounded much of the western part of Cuba. Many homes and farms flooded by heavy rain. Dozens of towns were cut off and thousands of people forced to evacuate. This is really only the start for what could be a very active hurricane season. Government experts predicting anywhere between 3 and 6 major storms from the North Atlantic region hitting this season, which will end in November. In Cedar Key, Florida, Steve Harrigan, Fox News.
Someone needs to tell that guy he needs to get out of that standing
water.
Hold
on, Steve. Hold on. Don't want to get washed away.
Oh, goodness.
All right. You know, the storm is even having an impact on the sports schedule. Carolina, State, South Carolina, all supposed to be playing. We'll find out more with Bob Bonner next.
This is Bob Bonner with your News at 10 Sports.
First day of Major League Baseball's amateur draft really didn't affect any of our local baseball talent, but some of the players did get an up-close and personal view of some of the top prospects in the nation. San Diego third baseman Chris Bryant, the second overall pick taken by the Cubs, while North Carolina third baseman Colin Moran went sixth to the Marlins. Both faced UNCW pitching in the games the Seahawks played against those teams. Bryant didn't do too well, going 1 for 4 with a strikeout in early March. He did finish the season, though, with a .329 average, 31 home runs, 61 driven in. As for Moran, in 2 games, he went 5 for 9, 4 runs scored, 4 RBI against UNCW. He'll take a .348 average and team-leading 13 home runs with him into the Super Regionals this weekend. The draft continues tomorrow and concludes on Saturday. And as of now, tomorrow's NCAA Super Regionals are as scheduled in Raleigh and Chapel Hill. NC State scheduled to host Rice 4 o'clock, while North Carolina takes on South Carolina at 1. Now, the Tar Heels will make an announcement tomorrow morning at 11 about any changes due to the expected weather. The Wolfpack will do the same at 8:30. Now, as a best-of-3 series, the schedule is to be completed by Sunday, but it could actually extend to Monday, as both programs have said a doubleheader would be a last option. Rain affected the Wilmington Sharks earlier today. The team's home date with Florence postponed due to the threat of rain. Tomorrow's schedule could also be questionable. The Sharks travel to Peninsula for a 7 o'clock meeting with the Pilots. Now, depending on the amount of rain in that area, that trip might not happen either. After opening the season with 2 straight wins, the team has now lost 3 in a row and has fallen a game below the old 500 mark. Last night, the Wilmington Hammerheads lost more than just another road game. They also lost a player. Because of a red card issued in the 75th minute, Daniel Steris has been suspended 1 game by the league, will not be available Saturday in Richmond. Now, the Hammerheads go into that game winless in road league games. Richmond currently 3rd in the league standings. They have played 10 of their 11 games at home. The one road game, 2-0 win in Wilmington. Now to college basketball. Last night, P.J. Harrison charged with marijuana possession following a traffic stop. North Carolina's leading scorer from last season stopped at a Durham area license checkpoint when officers found the drug in the car. He was also charged with driving without a license. Now, the university is still gathering all the facts of the matter, and they will release an official statement once they do. On this soggy day, plenty of bounce in the UNCW men's tennis program. As a whole, the program had a final national ranking of 43 after a 4th NCAA appearance in the last 5 seasons. Individually, junior Rafael Aita finished the season ranked 52nd after a 16-5 season. 3 doubles teams also ranked. Costa Blanc, Chris Cooprider headlining that trio, finishing the year at number 22. Aita and sophomore Sam Williams, the number 33 ranked team, with Kaye Pereira and Michael Riley coming in at number 86. Carolina Panthers season opener just 3 months away. That's why the coaching staff is paying plenty of attention to the current round of OTAs. They wrapped up today. Head coach Ron Rivera got to see John Beeson on the field working his way back from a knee injury. Panthers targeting training camp for his return, but we'll see even more work in next week's mini camp. It will also be another week for new offensive coordinator Mike Shula to fine-tune the unit. So far, nothing but positive reviews for Shula. More importantly to Coach Rivera, the progression of quarterback Cam Newton.
The nice thing that you see and the thing that I really like has been the progression of our quarterback. I think Cam has done a really nice job. I think his rapport with the rest of the team has been really good. And I'm seeing some things that really give you reason to be happy and be excited about who we can become as a football team. Minicamp will really be about execution. You know, all the installations are in. We've gone through all the things that we wanted to go through. Now we'll give the guys a chance to play fast and see how well they do.
June 6th today? 5th, 6th?
6th.
Are we talking about football?
Yeah.
You smack me?
No, everybody looks good right now in spring drills.
No pads.
No pads,
shorts,
no nothing, yeah.
Throwing it around, just
We'll
kind of winging it. But yeah, in the high school season, John Smith was already putting some of our schedules for this season on the web already. Wow. Yeah, it'll sneak up and get you.
Already has.
Watch out.
I think you're scared her, Bob.
I lost my hiccups.
Wakey, wakey.
Coming up on Fox Wilmington News at 10, we'll take one more look at what we can expect overnight and in the morning as Andrea hits the area.
And a final look also at school closings. All right, so as you put the kids to bed, here's what you need to know. As far as schools go, Brunswick County, Bladen County, and Whiteville City schools are all closed. Brunswick County's last day of class will be Monday, and Whiteville's last day of school will be Tuesday, which is June the 11th.
Duplin and Pender County schools on a 1-hour delay for tomorrow. The last we heard, New Hanover County Schools sent out a tweet, I guess it was about 9:15 or so, saying that they expect to be open Friday. Columbus County, the same situation. The superintendent telling us a decision will be made by 6 a.m., but they expect to be open. An entire list of closings on the homepage right now of foxwilmington.com. We have the Brunswick County Courthouse will be closed. A couple of daycare centers in the area will be closed as well. So go to foxwilmington.com and check on that. As we continue our coverage, make sure you watch our sister station WECT News tonight at 11.
Yes, and of course, as it hits our area, watch Carolina in the morning. That starts at 5 a.m. We do have everyone on staff coming in, kind of changing the guards over, but we'll be on standby whether something big happens or not.
Yeah, team coverage, Chief Meteorologist Gannon Medwick will be here, and so will Aisha Scott. They'll be here as well. Let's go ahead and take a look. First of all, one of the things I'm going to be watching overnight tonight is the possibility of a tornado watch being issued. Now, we have had a couple reports of tornadoes in South Georgia and Florida, but so far, no tornado watch issued just to our south. So that may be an encouraging sign. Don't want to sound the all clear by any stretch, but that's an encouraging sign that we don't have any tornado watches to our south. But we certainly do have a lot of heavy rain building. We've had a break for much of this evening, but it looks like that rain is going to continue to lift northward into our area. Andrea's impacts, I'm going to say 2 to 4 inches of rain widespread still across much of the area. Still the possibility of tropical storm force wind gusts, maybe as high as 50 miles per hour along the coast. And there's still that potential, can't rule out, particularly tomorrow morning, for those isolated, short-lived tornadoes. And I think the rain and that tornado threat tomorrow morning are the real things that we're going to have to watch.
Because as this storm tracks up I-95, we'll be on that right front quadrant, which with these storms is the strongest part of the storm.
And really just being on the east side of the storm, which is where we'll be, that's where the tornado threat is. So it's something we're going to have to watch, certainly. Very carefully tomorrow morning.
All right, foxwilmington.com gets you everything you need to know. We'll be back on our sister station, WECT News at 11.